Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1514.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about XRP Las Vegas, the huge XRP conference that was held this year at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. The conference is put on by Brad Kimes of Digital Perspectives and his lovely and talented wife, Danielle Kimes. And we'll talk more about that in a minute, but also we'll be covering the very serious and concerning situation developing at Linqto. Shout out to Brad and Danielle Kimes for doing an amazing job, a yeoman's work, a year of planning. They knocked it out of the park. It was a spectacular conference with something for every XRP holder, investor, aficionado, including developers. And we'll talk more about that. It was 2 full days of speakers like Uphold and even appearances from Ripple's David Schwartz and Brad Garlinghouse. That was the first time that both of them appeared on stage at the conference. David on Friday and Brad on Saturday. And shout out to all my Be Wealthy and Smart VIP experience members who were there. That was so fun to see you and hang out with you. And to all the people who came up to me and thanked me for my book. That was such a thrill to hear. So many people have read my book, 3 Steps to Quantum Wealth, The Wealth Heiress's Guide to Financial Freedom by Investing in Cryptocurrencies. And the people just appreciate the podcast. So thank you so much. I love you all. And it was just such a pleasure to meet you and hang out with you. Everything at the conference was super positive, and there was a focus on XRP developers and a Shark Tank-like competition where money was awarded to the best ideas. So that was a whole other thing going on this year that we haven't had in prior years. In my opinion, the big breaking news that was announced at the conference came from Uphold, who did a spectacular job of bringing us good, positive news. They announced that the Uphold debit card is coming back. Stay tuned. They announced that they are launching direct deposits on Uphold. This is only going to be available in the U.S. and excludes, unfortunately, New York and the Virgin Islands. If I got this right, you can have your ADP feed for your salary, your payroll, go to Uphold, and it's a minimum of $250, and they will give you 4% XRP rewards. So in other words, I believe you'll be able to send automated deposits to them and get the rewards, but we have to wait for Uphold to give us the full details. And the third announcement that Uphold made is that Flare staking is coming, and you'll be able to receive yield on Flare. Again, wait for the details, they're coming soon. But those were 3 exciting announcements about the debit card, direct deposits and payroll, and Flare staking. We also had an appearance from the new CEO of Linqto, Dan Siciliano, and he made a presentation with John Deaton where they did a Q&A and John asked him some very tough questions. It was the first time the XRP Army was meeting Dan in person. This appeared to be in response to a press release that dropped earlier in the day. The press release said that investors were mobilizing to free Linqto amid concerns of mismanagement, and that concerned customers of the investment platform Linqto have joined together to demand answers from the tech company's new management, which has suspended operations and frozen users' accounts since February of this year. Users' accounts have been frozen since February 27th. The company's operating reserves have been drained, and the platform has effectively ceased normal operations, according to Rob Cunningham, founder of newly formed consumer advocacy group Free Linqto and longtime Linqto user. He said at best, this is a result of a series of misguided and bad decisions. At worst, it represents an intentional effort to drive the platform into insolvency. Also, renowned blockchain and AI visionary Steven Narioff has joined the effort. lending both strategic guidance and legal firepower to the growing movement. And that press release, which I just read in parts of it, I did not read the entire press release. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But it references a website that was set up called freelinqto.com, freelinqto.com. And when you get to freelinqto.com, it says, "We are a group of Linqto customers who seek to save and restore the company's founding principles and ensure its continued existence in response to very troubling developments in the company's management." I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's quite lengthy, but I will pick out some of the paragraphs that I think best describe what this movement is about. It says, "These developments pose a direct threat to Linqto's approximately 14,000 customers and the very future of the company itself, but we are confident that together we can free Linqto and protect all our investments. Linqto was founded 5 years ago with the mission of democratizing the private equity space. Financially in the black within 3 months of its launch and every month since until very recently, Linqto enabled its customers to take advantage of private equity investing in small increments amid the growing crypto space, with nearly 75% of its customers holding equity in Ripple. Unfortunately, Linqto's current management has demonstrated a coordinated pattern of behavior that puts Linqto and its customers at risk. Linqto's platform was cash positive and operationally sound before the new management's arrival. Its seeming path toward insolvency appears to be the result of deliberate sabotage and/or an undisclosed restructuring. The threat is existential not only to the company but to 14,000 plus customers, particularly those directly holding Ripple equity, SPVs, which stands for Special Purpose Vehicles." It goes on to explain that Linqto's new CEO is a Stanford law professor and co-founder of rival fintech company Nickel, and was brought into Linqto under the guise of strategic support and the eventual acquisition of Nickel by Linqto. The acquisition of Nickel was never consummated. Despite this, CEO responsibilities were assumed at Linqto while maintaining significant equity ownership in Nickel, a direct competitor. This dual role presents an undisclosed and irreconcilable conflict of interest. For over 5 years, the company operated profitably, generating steady revenue and maintaining positive cash flow quarter after quarter. That trajectory changed dramatically approximately 100 days ago, following a shift in control. Since then, management has terminated a substantial portion of the workforce, including key senior executives, shut down all retail platform operations, retained multiple attorneys, including bankruptcy specialists, rapidly drawn down company reserves, significantly reducing available capital, and repeatedly misrepresented the regulatory landscape to justify operational paralysis, citing SEC restrictions that do not exist. Freelinqto.com goes on to say the cumulative impact of these actions raises serious concerns about whether fiduciary obligations are being upheld and if shareholder interests remain a priority. While the CEO has made public and internal claims that bankruptcy is not the goal, his strategic decisions suggest a clear and concerning direction. And then it has some bullet points. One of the new CEO's earliest strategic actions was to introduce Chapter 11 as a serious consideration, despite Linqto having no debt and significant cash reserves at the time. He has hired bankruptcy-focused counsel. He proposed SEC settlements structured to force insolvency, including unnecessarily reimbursing investors for unrealized losses and assuming exaggerated liability. It goes on to say Linqto's customers hold 3% of Ripple private equity through special purpose vehicles. These retail investors have already lost access to their positions due to the shutdown of the platform. Now they face the added risk of being coerced into transferring those positions to Nickel at steep discounts under the guise of a rescue. The incident hauntingly resembles prior manipulations like ETHgate. As the largest SPV aggregator of Ripple equity, Linqto's collapse would not only damage retail trust, but may trigger legal and reputational consequences far and wide the world over. So this is on the freelinqto.com website, and you can go there. They do have a contact us button if you want to contact them, and there is a donate button. And because there is expected to be a legal battle that may ensue, and costs have already been incurred to set up, obviously, a website, there is a place where donations can be given. And they are hoping to raise $250,000 according to the donation page. So the fundraising has begun by concerned investors. Since this is an ongoing situation, I will be sharing with you public information about how this is progressing. But again, for all of your updates and information, please go to freelinqto.com. Once again, thanks to Brad Kimes and everybody at XRP Las Vegas for an amazing conference. I had so much fun, and XRP has the best community in the world, no doubt about it. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. And all of my podcasts are on my website at lindapjones.com/podcasts. And while you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter for more wealth tips for your financial freedom. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.